Hi, thank you for me. I'm Mr. Nazri, teaching computer science DC024. Today I would like to share with you how we write and draw a flowchart and then pseudocode. Okay, so if you can see here, a design solution. In a design solution that have an algorithm, and then inside the algorithm have a or a flow chart. Right, so before this you already know 5 steps of a 5 step of a problem solving. First is a problem analysis, whereas we need to identify what is input, process, and then output. The second step or second space in problem solving is a design a solution. And then for the third step, implementation, testing, and then documentation, we will discuss later on. So by today, I would like to introduce you about the design solution. Okay, look at for the solve a problem using algorithm. For a math example, okay, find the area of a rectangle using a flowchart. See, so now I need to explain with you how we can use it. Okay, so we are using the symbols, and inside the symbol have a few text. Okay, every symbol have a different function and then a meaning. We are using start to mention that is point, and then the pair is end. Usually we are using start and stop. So we change here first, start and stop. Take a time to edit it. Stop. Okay, and then we are using the keyword. The red color is the action, the keyword we need to put on this shape. Okay, after this you will learn about the meaning of every shape. So fine, now we need to understand what is the problem from this example. From the example, you need to find the area of rectangle by using the flowchart. So area of a rectangle, this is rectangle. I'm sorry, fail to control my pen to exactly right. So you need to find the area of this rectangle. So for the mathematic formula, usually we are using this height and then width. So area of a rectangle, this is the formula. So for your more understand, before we can do this problem analysis, you need to do the IPO. Okay, so you need to know what is input, process, and then output. So the input is width and height. So now we take note. The input is okay. Okay, before we can determine what is the input, we need to know what is the output first. So output from this problem is to find the area of rectangle. So we can write here area of rectangle. Missing the A. Okay, area of rectangle. So that is our objective, to find the area of rectangle. So you can write very simple words present the variable we are using, area of rectangle. And then after that we need to determine what is input. So input regarding from that formula, we know area equal width times height. So what is unknown, or what is the data need to be entered by the user, is width and height, comma height. Okay, so that is two variables we will declare to store a data into the computer memory. So every word we are using, okay, we represent the sum data. Okay, right. What is the process? Process to calculate to calculate what? We refer to the output, area of rectangle. So you are using the same spellings, same word with the output variable based on width and height. Okay, done. So this is our guideline, because before this step, using the algorithm, we are doing the problem analysis. So IPO is inside the problem analysis. Okay, so we are using the flowchart. Flowchart will represent with the shape. Look at the different shape between flowchart and pseudocode. Okay, this is flowchart and pseudocode. Okay, pseudocode is informal language used to design an algorithm, but for the flowchart, a graphical response representation. Okay, using the graphical representation, then a special shape. That graphical shape, this is a special. It's not randomly a shape. There is a graphical representation of the algorithm in relation to it a sequence of function. So maybe sequence, maybe a selection, maybe repetition. We're not sure about that. So there is a depend on the problem. And then for the second, for the pseudocode, notation resembling a simplified program language, use a program design. Okay, there is a notation resembling, but using the simple language. Okay, but the flowchart special purpose symbols are connected by arrow. Okay, in a flowchart we are using the arrow. If you miss to draw the arrow, you will be lost on your mark. So make sure every shape you will connect with the arrow. Okay, we look at the two ways algorithm to find the area of circle. Right, area of circle, you know the formula is 3.1 for 2 radius times radius. That means pi r power of 2. Okay, and then please take note, every time my class I remind you, every number is not the input. So that's mean 3.14 is not the input, so don't ever write that 3.142 into the, that is not input, because that is already the value. So inside the input is unknown value, we don't know the value, so we need to wait the user to enter that value into our variable, so that variable will be keep that data into computer memory, and then we can use in the process. Now we look at for the left is a pseudocode. Okay, the same. Okay, the same. I need to do it some correction for this start and stop. I should be using the start and stop. Okay, wait. Okay, here. Oh. Start and stop. Stop. Why this power is too slow? Okay, we are using the pair of the start and stop. To start, you need to stop. That is spinning, so processing, waiting for the processing. Maybe the complex and very complex calculation, isn't it? So the cursor of my mouse, okay, my pointer is still, so I cannot do anything to exchange. I don't know what's happened. Stop. Yeah, start and stop. Here is same. I failed to change. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, right, there's okay. So we are writing oh no. Okay. Okay. So this is a formula. You can write pen. Where is the pen? So you cannot write like this. 22 over 7 . Allah. Oh. Cannot write 22 over 7 R2. You cannot do it like. Okay, you need to simplify. Okay, you need to calculate 22 over 7 is 3.142, and then R power of 2, you need separate it. The computer will cannot the process of that calculation are multiplication. R power of 2 is radius times radius, or you can write R times R. So we understood that R is radius. So from here we need to compare between two of this algorithm. So for that is the same. And then read. So if a question need you to transfer the pseudocode to the flowchart or flowchart pseudocode, is the way you can convert it. So you are using radius. So that is still same. Still same. Read radius. But the difference here is that have shape and then arrow. Shape and arrow. So that is difference. And then calculate. So we don't need to write the calculate. No, in flowchart. So we directly write circle error equal 3.142 radius times radius, but we need to put the rectangle shape. So rectangle shape is a represent function for the process. And then this parallelogram is represent to input or output. Input or output. So that's why you need to write read, enter, put, in, get to represent the of input. So beware, don't put the any input verb, so you will be get minus your mark. Okay, so make sure you will be put, because in the next process here we are using the same shape. The shape is a parallelogram, and then this parallelogram have a dual function. So here and then output. So for the output, if you want to represent output function, you need to put it print or display or output, because that this same shape have a two function. So you need to write either input or output verb, and then stop. That is same stop. That is a very easy to either from the to pseudocode or flowchart, pseudocode to flowchart. That is easy. Okay, right. This is a symbol charts and then meaning. First is arrow. So this is a flow line. So make sure the flow line have arrow to use to connect a symbol and indicate the flow of logic. So flow of logic. It's not a circle. This is not circle, but more to oval. Okay, this is a terminal. This is terminal. Terminal that's meant to represent beginning or start or end or stop. Okay, the process or the problem solving, starting and then ending. And then this is for this parallelogram to represent input or output. But here make sure they have two function, so you need to using the verb, the correct verb to represent either that is input or output. And then this is a process. The process only have one function, so any calculation occur in this process. Okay, this is additions. We are using this diamond shape addition to make this logic or comparison operation. Unlike the input or output, this process is simple, which have a and one exit flow line. So the enter here, and then either you can going out here or going out here or anyone. Then have one input flow line and then 3 flow line. And usually you are using 2 flow line to out. And then this is circle is continuation of the logic part of the another point to same page. Okay, right. So that means you have to continue to the other page, so you need to use this connector. Okay, we go next. Okay, calculate total of 2 number by using 2 number. So the 2 number, if you are using the IPO, firstly we need to identify the O. O is output. So what is the output we need to is total, isn't it? So total. So you write that variable is total. So only using one words to represent the output. Okay, and then 2 number. So you need to find the name to represent number 1, number 2. So maybe you can use number 1. Okay. So you need to put number 1 and then comma number 2. Okay, so the process is to calculate total. Okay, we write here. I think it's better using using the words. Okay, calculate the total. We are called for the total. Okay, based on number 1, number 2. Okay, that is problem analysis. We are using the IPO, using the simple language. But in the algorithm, you will use the formula. Okay, so you need to use formula in algorithm. Algorithm, we are using the formula, but in problem analysis, we are not using the formula. We just write, explain the formula we can use. Okay, hopefully you can understand it. The difference between problem analysis and then algorithm or solution. Okay, I already write here as your in algorithm using formula. In problem analysis, we are not using the formula. Look at for the problem. I write in simple language to calculate total based on number 1, 2. But in the algorithm, we are type, make it simple. Total equal number 1 plus number 2. Display total. So of 2, we no need to write it. Okay, calculate a total. No need to mention of 2 numbers. Actually, if you write the calculate the total equal number 1 plus number 2. This is only for your notation or documentation. Right. So we can proceed for the next slide. Okay, now using the flowchart. Okay, using a flowchart. Firstly, we need to draw start and stop. Not end. We are using the start and stop. And then make sure the input number 1, number 2. And then for the total of the formula of that total, you should write total equal number 1 plus number 2. And then display total only. So we need to call that the same variable. So the variable you are using here is total. Draw. So where is your variable? Here. This is your variable. Number 1, number 2, total. So you have a 3 variable here. Number 1, number 2, and total. So you need to use the exactly word here. Total using all small capital letter. Okay, right. So let me discuss for the and to find the area of rectangle by using a pseudocode. Okay, first step to solve this problem, you need to know what is the IPO of. You need to know what is IPO. So IPO is the first step to identify what is the input, process, and then output. So now you need to know what is the output first. Okay, what is the output first? So if a question is not asking about the problem analysis, they are not asking you to mention what is process and then output, but that is mine. This is our step. To solve the problem, we need to know what is the IPO first. Okay, now from here, find the area of the rectangle. Firstly, we need to identify what is the output. So output here is area of rectangle. So you just write area of rectangle. So that is output. So now we know the formula involved in this calculation, area of a rectangle. So now you can write down what is the input. Okay, now what is the input is width and then height. Okay. So next is the process. To calculate what? To calculate, and then we call the output first area of rectangle based on what? Based on width and height. So that's the way how we can do it, the problem analysis. Now so starting, the second step is write down the start and stop. Then you need to know what is the input. Maybe you can using the enter, put, get, input, read. So you can use any word to represent the input, to get the input into the computer memory. So enter is the word for the input. And then you write the sum note here, calculate area of rectangle. So area of rectangle, so this is a multiplication operation. So you cannot use x to represent the multiplication, but you are using the star. Okay, by using the star, the same will be used into the computer programming. So from now you can use this star to represent multiplications operation. Okay, check, is it using the same word? Okay, is it using the same word with your formula words? Area of rectangle. So make sure the spelling is same. The spelling is same. No error spelling. For instance, if this area of rectangle you are spell A using the capital letter, so this area you are spell small capital letter. Okay, so that cannot be connected, because the computer will be know two different variable. So now if the same spelling, that words, the computer will recognize as one the same variable. So the value keep it in this variable will be transferred to anywhere if they are called by their name. So now with this the calling process, calling for that variable, in that value they are keep. Can you if you can understand, we can proceed for the next. So now what is the next is example 1. Problem statement, find the average of a 3 numbers input by user. So user will be enter the 3 number 1, 2, 3, and then in the side the computer we need to space, okay, memory space. So we need to represent for someone, okay, some word we need to use. Okay, maybe we can use number 1, number 2, number 3. So in these 3 words we be keep that data entered by the user. Okay, first data enter will be kept by the first variable name, second, and then third. So do a problem analysis, transfer to pseudocode or flowchart. Okay, you can choose anyone to solve the problem. Not both of these algorithm will be requested by the question. Maybe one from them. Okay, So you need to expert with two method of algorithm, either pseudocode or flowchart. But the most important, you need to do the correct problem analysis. So we go to the next slide to see the how they are solve this problem to find the average of three numbers. So I think you know how to find the average of three numbers. So firstly, you need to find the total of numbers. Okay, number 1 plus 2 plus number 3. And then you need to find the average. So how to find the average? Average you can find by from the total divide by numbers of the input. So you have a of input, so you can use divide by 3. Okay, look at for the problems step. Okay, solving problem solving. Firstly, do the problem analysis. Now are we using the number 1, number 2 and number 3 as our variable to keep data entered by the user, and then go to firstly we need to identify what is the output. So the output is average. So here I'm simplify the words using here. You can use average only, or you can use average of 3 numbers. That is fine. That is very fine. And then second, you will be need to know what is the input. So input, you are using number 1, number 2 and 3 to represent the memory space, okay, to keep data entered by the user. And the process, calculate average of 3 numbers. Okay, calculate the average based on number 1, number 2, number 3. Okay, you can see that. Okay, and then we transfer to the pseudocode. Firstly, you need to and then stop. Okay, you need to do it as some correction, start and stop. And then you write the read. Read that's mean enter. Read that's mean input. Okay. Otherwise, what we can use from the read is enter, input, get, put. So all this word is represent is enter input into the computer. So read number 1, read number 2, read number 3. And then just average of 3 number. So first step, you need to know what is the total of 3 numbers, and then divide them, divide 3 from the 3. And then print average of 3 numbers, and that's all. So that is a very easy. We see how we draw in flowchart. Okay, read. Firstly, we need to draw the shape involved. Okay, regarding the process. This case is sequence. Sequence that means no skip, no deletion, no repetition. So just follow the flow of line. So read number 1, read number 2, and then read number 3, and then process average of 3 numbers, and then print. So we are using the same shape. This is a parallelogram. This is parallelogram. But the first parallelogram shape is a represent for the input, and then for the last shape parallelogram is using for output. So make sure you are using the correct word to represent. If you don't write that input verb or output verb, you'll be get 0 mark. So make sure you are right. Don't forget, because that shape have a 2 function. And then in the control structure, for sequence, selection, and then a repetition, okay, you will be need to use the same algorithm, pseudocode or flowchart. So that's all for my sharing by today. Is about the using the algorithm. So algorithm we need to use to solve a problem after we know the IPO in the first step, the problem solving. Okay, first step we need to problem analysis using the IPO, identify the what is input, process, and then output. After that we need to design the solution. So how to design the solution? We are using the algorithm. So algorithm have a two type. First is a pseudocode and then flowchart. Then most important is in algorithm you need to use the formula. You need use a formula, mathematical formula, and then be sure using the correct variable. So because in the problem analysis in IPO you just explain what is the formula we can use, but in the algorithm you need to use the exactly mathematical formula. Okay, so that's all from me. Assalamualaikum. See you again. Bye bye.